Like if I'm in a dark episode and the emotions are going crazy and my mind is going crazy, what is it that I can do to help myself get out of that? And there's a lot of techniques. You can Google it. There's so many techniques of when you're in that dark state, how to get out of it. But the thing that I teach is not, yes, I do show people, how to handle the mind when it starts saying cruel things and how to, get yourself out of, whatever emotions that you're going through. But what's more important is not really how to handle those thoughts and emotions, but it's to prevent those mean things or those painful emotions from even happening in the first place. Because at the end of the day, like, that's cool. You can handle your stress, you can manage your stress. But why do you want to manage something? Don't you want to just learn how to not feel stress or not allow that stress to like take over when it arises, and how to lessen that stress? And that's something that I learned during my journey. The thing that I talk about in some of the other episodes is the mind is attached to the body. So there's all this talk, which is beautiful. I think it's great that we're talking about mental wellness and we're learning things on how to heal the brain. Amazing. I am all about educating ourselves and healing the mind. But something that we're not really discussing as much is that the mind is the body. It's attached to the body. And where do you feel your emotions? You feel it in the body. So being well and creating well-being in your life is not just about mental health, mental awareness. It is about body health, body awareness, because you feel those emotions in your body. So when people have a greater understanding of what is really happening to the body as a whole, that is where healing comes in. And I had no idea of a lot of this stuff that I learned, mental health, I just need to fix the mind. What I learned is, no, I need to fix the body. And this is not just about, working out and eating right. And of course, what you eat impacts your mental health and working out impacts your mental health. But there are so many other things that are going on in your body when you are depressed, when you do have anxiety or whatever thing that, we've labeled ourselves. There's more to it than what's happening in the brain. And one of the things that scientists have discovered is that when you think a certain way, it releases chemicals into your body. So let's give an example of anxiety attacks. When you have a panic attack, this isn't just happening out the blue. It's not something that's just magically, that just happens. There's something physically that's going on in your body. So usually you have certain thoughts, maybe it's you have to get on an airplane, maybe it's going to a social event, maybe it's just thinking about your child getting abducted or whatever it is that creates those types of thoughts in your head. Then you start to feel it in your body. And what we're not learning is, well, what's really going on in your body? Because we already know that you have certain thoughts, chemicals are released in the body. So what happens when you have an anxiety attack? Some people, their heart starts to pound really hard, or, they start to feel like the shakiness, or their hands start sweating, or everybody has, their thing that happens with the anxiety attack. The reason why you are having these symptoms is because after you have these thoughts that are occurring, the chemical that is being released in your body, it's called epinephrine, which is a fancy word for adrenaline. And adrenaline is released from your sympathetic nervous system. And when that adrenaline gets released, that is your fight or flight response. That is your body literally being prepared to run. So blood, your heart starts to rush. Your heart starts to beat fast because blood is rushing to your heart, sending it to your legs or sending it to your arms, because you're either going to run or you are going to fight. And that's the mind's way of protecting you. That is what an anxiety attack is. It is adrenaline being rushed to your body. Now, why does that happen? Why do people have anxiety attacks? Some people have them every single day. Some people have them every single week. Why is there this pattern? What is that? And a lot of that comes back to childhood. Everybody has the fight or flight response. That's something that saved us thousands and thousands of years ago. When we lived in tribal land and tribal times, and an animal, saber-toothed tiger, comes in front of you, you have that fear factor, and that's your cue to either defend yourself or to run away. Everybody has that adrenaline. We all have the flight or fight response. It literally saved us. But if you came from an environment of a lot of chaos or mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, whatever, any kind of trauma, the brain is learning very early on and during a fundamental time. The brain is learning for the very first time that this world is unsafe, that we need to build up this fear section in the brain. We need this to survive this world. And so you have other circumstances that happen. And because that muscle is so strong, that adrenaline, that epinephrine is going to be released in the body, and you will have panic attacks. Now, as an adult, what's happening is that the body has become addicted to that chemical. That is something that I had no idea. These chemicals that are released early on as a child, or something can happen as an adult. So, PTSD, people that are in the army, or people that have to be in and out of hospital because of sick children. I'm very much well aware of what that feels like. That adrenaline, the body becomes addicted to it. And what's so interesting is that the body looks for opportunities to get that fix. Do you ever wonder how those people that go through the cave, those like little teeny caves, and they end up getting stuck and sometimes dying? Or those people that, climb mountains that, people die on, like Mount Everest, and so many people die on. And you wonder, well, what is it? Why? Why are you going into that teeny hole in that cave knowing that you can die? And it's a lot of that. It's that rush that they get. And a lot of them call themselves, I'm an adrenaline junkie. Their body is addicted to how they feel when they get that adrenaline rush. The thing is that they are conscious of this is how I'm conscious of the fact that I've liked that adrenaline rush. People that suffer from depression or anxiety or other things that they don't like or they don't want, their body, they don't know it, is addicted to it. So they look for opportunities. The body looks for opportunity to get that rush again. And so it sometimes, like I said, it could be from, getting on an airplane or getting your child abducted or whatever it is. It looks for that thing. But let me tell you, that thing is not what is actually causing your anxiety. It's the addiction in the body that's causing it. And so if you want to heal your anxiety, we have to heal the body. We have to balance those chemicals. A lot of times, if people look at somebody that's depressed and they look at their hormones, there's more likely than not, there's a hormonal imbalance going on. Their serotonins are too low. Their dopamines are too low. And so, or their cortisol is really high, which is the stress hormone. This is the stuff that I had no idea about. I thought everything was just a mind thing. And a lot of it is that mental wellness, but it's also having an understanding of what's actually happening physically, those chemicals that are within you. Now, I'm talking about anxiety because I know anxiety is really prominent out there, and that's the chemical that's getting released. But the body is not just addicted to panic attacks or that feeling. The body can be addicted to worrying. It can be addicted to anger. It can be addicted to feeling embarrassed. It can be addicted to sadness. It can be addicted to feeling hurt. One thing that I didn't know, but I learned during my depression, or I learned today, that during my depression, I was addicted to not feeling enough, feeling less than. And so I looked for opportunities unconsciously. I looked for opportunities where I would feel insecure, or I would feel less than, and knowing that I am not enough to perpetuate and to get that feeling that I wanted to feel. So it's an interesting thing to tell people that the reason why you are experiencing this is because the body is addicted to that feeling, but it's not just the addiction. Again, it's the mental health, the mental wellness. There are certain neurons that have connected, and those are really strong pathways that have created. So you have these really strong thoughts, and the neurons that wire together. So you have a certain thought of, oh, I have to go to this event with all of these people. Those same neurons are triggered, and it says, okay, let's release that panic attack. Let's go ahead. Let's have that experience right now. And if people are just a little bit more educated on the fact that our bodies can get addicted to these chemicals, we can start to have a little bit more control over our well-being, our entire well-being, not just the health of our mind, but also the health of our body, because we know we feel the emotions in our body. So our body needs healing as well. And two of the greatest ways to help heal that addiction to those chemicals that kind of make you feel bad and make you feel down or give you anxiety attacks or you go through your depression episodes, two of the greatest things that you can do, and I've said this in previous episodes, but one of them is practicing gratitude. Scientists have discovered that gratitude acts like a natural depressant. The effects of gratitude can actually have the same effects as taking some type of medication. And the reason is because when you practice gratitude, when you have those particular thoughts in your mind, and remember I told you that when you think a certain way, your body releases those chemicals. If you think grateful things, if you think about things that you are thankful for, your body releases that serotonin. It releases that dopamine. And those are neurotransmitters that are responsible over your emotions, the emotions that make you feel good. They enhance our mood immediately, and they make you feel good from the inside. You didn't have to take anything. You didn't have to have a certain experience outside of yourself. You didn't have to, have to go to the beach or any of that stuff. Just by thinking it, you are creating those chemicals into your body. You're introducing it into your body. And so you want to normalize and have that balance in those chemicals. You want to have that balance of those chemicals in your body. Scientists have also found that practicing gratitude lowers the level of cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and makes you feel overwhelmed. Also, one of the beautiful things that dopamine and serotonin do is that they make it easier to get over unpleasant events. And one thing that I talk about all the time is that life is going to throw us curveballs, those things that are going to happen in our life that we don't want. And if you have your body in that hormonal balance, if you have your serotonins where they're supposed to be and your dopamines where they are supposed to be, then it is easier to handle those setbacks. It's easier to handle those moments that you don't expect to happen. The body and the mind are able to respond in a more productive and effective manner. Now, I talk a lot about meditation, and in other episodes I have other meditations. They are quick, they are 10 minutes, but it's meditation that truly helped me out of my depression, because meditation heals the mind, but it also heals the body. I've talked a lot about the importance of dopamine, the importance of serotonin. There is this other chemical that is very important in your body that I have never heard of in my life. It is called GABA. It stands for gamma aminobutyric acid. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. But if you suffer from anxiety, if you suffer from depression, and this is from scientists, I'm not making this stuff up. They say that if you suffer from those things, more likely than not, your GABA is low within your system. And scientists have discovered that when you meditate, you increase your levels of serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about GABA. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which means that it regulates how information is received within you. It's like its own assistant in your brain, like its own organizer person in your brain. If you walk into a restaurant and it's really loud, people are screaming, you hear babies crying and all of this stuff. If your GABA levels are on point, it helps you organize that information so you don't have like this sensory overload, which for me is very helpful, especially as a mother when, we have 1,000 things that we have to do at all times. And in the mornings, it's getting breakfast, it's doing lunch, trying to get them dressed, getting their hair done, brush their teeth, wash their face, figuring out the stuff that you didn't do yesterday, what you got to do today, what you need to do now, what you need to do tomorrow, and all of these things where it truly is an overwhelming experience. That is why mothering is so exhausting, because there are thousands of things that you should be doing that you don't have time to do, you don't have the money to do, or whatever it is. It's overwhelming. If your GABA levels are balanced and they are where they are supposed to be, you do not get overwhelmed as easily. I was very surprised when I started meditating, and this is before I even learned about GABA. I was able to handle things a lot easier. I wouldn't get stressed out. I wouldn't get overwhelmed. I started sleeping better because GABA actually helps you regulate your sleep and helps you get into that sleep state easier and waking up easier. And I just couldn't believe that I was just learning about GABA for the very first time, and all of these things that are going on within my body that contributed to my depression. And when I started meditating, because it's my body healing itself, and when I'm out in the real world, I am happier. I am more joyful. I am at peace. I don't stress out. Now, it can happen every now and then, but I know how to get myself back into that state and not go into the spiraling again. So I really encourage everybody to start looking up some of these hormone things that are going on within our body and how it is connected to our anxiety and our depression. And this is how we start taking responsibility over our emotions. You don't have to have these attacks. There are things that you can do. And another thing about GABA, something that I just saw, is that they actually sell supplements with GABA. And I thought to myself, well, that's cool. There's a supplement for it. But then when you look at the side effects, it's all those like nausea, like dizziness, sleep issues, or whatever it is. There's all the side effects. And the reason why you have side effects is because your body can naturally create GABA. And so when you take it, you're technically not earning it. You're taking something from the outside to make you feel a certain way. And so all you have to do is meditate. And you guys, I've created these meditations, and whatever topic that you're looking for. If it's for anxiety, I have a 10-minute meditation for anxiety. I have a 10-minute meditation for forgiveness, making change in your life. Whatever it is that you're looking for, I've tried to create these meditations to make them simple for people that are new to meditation. And the more you meditate, the easier it gets. And I really hope that this is something that, the Black culture, the American culture, I really hope that people start to take serious, because that is where the true healing happens, on a mental level and on a physical level. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you learned something, or there's some tool or technique that you can take home with yourself today and share with your friends and your family. Please share my podcast. I'm also on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.